Next, I want to tell you about another woman. Her name is Bonnie. Bonnie is my grandmother's daughter. She is my mother. And let me tell you, everything about my mother has always been big. My grandma's life was small, but everything was big with my mom. Big hair, big outfits, big shoes, big laugh, big lover of life, big expectations from life. My grandmother was just a very quiet, simple woman. And I have no idea how my mother came from my grandmother. None at all. But she did. Let me give you an idea. My mother likes wigs. Oh yes, she does. Big blonde wigs. Oh yes, I have one. Check this out. I'm going to make sure the bangs are right. Oh yeah, okay. She likes wigs. She's a big proponent of hairspray. I'm telling you, the woman could have definitely single-handedly kept Aquanet in business when she was growing up, when I was growing up. She likes feather boas. She likes big sunglasses. She likes high heels and sequins. And one of the things that I have always been very grateful for my mother is that she was very easy to find in a crowd. Her idea of a perfect vacation is going to Hawaii, especially if there's a cruise involved. Let me tell you, there is nothing like that. She loves shopping, QVC, the Home Shopping Network, and her credit card, which let me tell you has gotten her into a lot of trouble over the years, unfortunately. But she is the epitome of Frank Sinatra's "I did it my way." And you know, growing up, my mother made holidays awesome because everything was big. It was wonderful. She had big, huge Christmas trees. We grew up in a really tiny little house, but she had like a big, huge Christmas tree. Is my hair up okay? Okay. Okay, because you're kind of looking at me, so I want to make sure it's poofy enough. Because it's got to be big. I didn't have my hair attachment that I also like to attach, but I'm pretty sure I've practiced a couple times. So. But when it comes to holidays, she made them awesome. We lived in a small house also, just a 2-bedroom house with the 5 of us. And she had a big old Christmas tree in the corner of the room. And it would be so big that she would have to tie it with fishing wire and like put a nail in the ceiling and tie it up there. She would give us Easter baskets at Easter time, just filled with chocolates and candies. Our birthdays were filled with store-bought ice cream cakes and gifts. She makes the holidays also awesome for my kids. She just loves the holidays. And in fact, my mom has a lot of stuff, okay, because everything's big. So one year, it was Christmas, and she was coming to our house, to come into my sister's house in New York. And so she was in, but the car, unfortunately, was very, very full. I don't know, she just had stuff in it. She has a lot of stuff. And so she was like, no, I am going to get all those gifts to the girl's house. And she couldn't fit it in the car because there were so many gifts. And so what she did is she took one of those big old contractor bags. Okay, she lives about 6 miles from my sister. Big old contractor bag, filled it to the rim. Tied the top, got into the car, somehow managed to get it up on top of the roof. And that Santa Claus just drove 6 miles in a snowstorm all the way there. She epitomizes a verse that is found in Ecclesiastes. And I love this verse. Seize life. Eat bread with gusto. Drink with a robust heart. Oh yes, God takes pleasure in your pleasure. Dress festively every morning. Don't skim on colors and scars. Relish life with those you love. Each and every day of your precarious life, each day is God's gift to you. It's all you get in exchange for the hard work of staying alive. Make the most of each one. My mother never told me to enjoy the moment, to laugh loudly, or to love deeply. But I was watching and learning, even when I didn't think I was. There's another woman I want to tell you about today. Her name is Georgia. Now, Georgia came into my life about half my life ago, about 25 years ago, and she has made a tremendous impact on it. She is my mother-in-law. And I'm happy to say, although she doesn't know that I'm going to talk about her, she is with me here today. Everything about my mother-in-law is strong. She worked full-time while raising 4 boys in the country. She knows how to milk a cow and pluck a chicken and keep a family of 6 well-fed on a shoestring budget. Let me tell you, to this day, her house smells like a freshly baked sugar cookie. It has always smelled warm, like cinnamon, like residual cinnamon. There's always something cooking on the stove. She is the picture of resilience and patience and faith. She's been married almost 60 years. And she's taught me a lot about their patience and persistence. She's taught me that love never gives up, even when it gets hard. She's put up with a lot over those 60 years of marriage. We don't need to go there, but I can tell you that in her very, not so very big backyard, she's had cows in the corner of it. And at one time, I think they had about a dozen coon dogs, because her 4 sons and her husband liked to chase coons, and so they needed coon dogs, and they would sell the pelts. And I'll tell you, once they got a little bored, I guess, I don't know. They just got bored of those raccoons, so they decided, you know, we caught a skunk. Why not sell the skunk pellets instead? And so in my poor mother-in-law's freezer, they put the skinned skunks. And let me tell you something. That smells up the house in a mighty best way. And not only does it smell up the house, but it ruins your freezer. Did she freak out? No. No? Oh well. What are you going to do? Put it to the curb. I have to tell you that even though she worked full time, she is the gosh darn best cook I know. A couple days ago, I asked her if I could borrow her apron. She doesn't know why. I think she knows now. She taught me that it's possible that you really can love someone with food. This woman makes a rhubarb pie like nobody's business. In fact, I almost died because I went to go pick her up today, and there was a heavy rhubarb pie on her counter, and I just about was like, oh, I'll pay you later, because I have to drop her off, so I'm very excited about that. Now you have to know that I am the daughter of the 70s, and so my mother, who also worked full time, you know, she was busy doing other things. trains, and so she wasn't the cook or anything. So I remember growing up, we ate scalloped potatoes. Everyone has scalloped potatoes. Ours were Betty crackers. And so that was fine, and so I remember dating my husband-to-be, and I was over at George's house, and we were eating dinner, and these were the best potatoes I had ever had in my life. And I finally said, oh my gosh, what are these? And she said, well, they're scalloped potatoes. I said, well, what brand? She said, I don't know what you mean, what brand? They're just potatoes. I mean, she scallops her own potatoes? Oh my gosh, yes, I'll marry you now. But I have to tell you that she is a woman of courage. You know, 9 years ago, we moved from New York to Michigan. And my mother-in-law wanted to change her life. And I'll tell you, mothers and fathers-in-law don't want to change their life at age 70. They don't. They've done their life, right? They're like, no, let's settle in. Let's hang out for a while. Let's relax. No, not Georgia. Georgia decided that she was like, no, I want to move to Michigan with Brett and Eileen. And so she did. She came. And it was the most tremendous gift that anyone could ever give to us. They moved here. You know, it really hit me most of all when we went to when I took her to the bank, go get a checking account. No big deal. My husband and I had moved around for years and years. And so we didn't think anything about it. We opened and closed a checking account. But I took Mom to the bank, and she was waiting, and she looked at me and she said, you know, Eileen, I haven't had to set up a checking account in 50 years. 50 years. You're here with us after 50 years. I was amazed and deeply grateful. Georgia cultivates the kind of beauty found in 1 Peter 3. Your beauty is that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. Georgia never told me to be a strong woman. She never told me that it was important to be a good cook. I was watching, and I was learning, even when she didn't think I was. You know, these three women are clearly very different, and yet I also hope that I've been able to convey that I'm a very fortunate woman. One is very simple, one is very colorful, and one is very courageous. And yet, they share a common thread. It's a thread that I think that we should all strive for in our lives. They could not all cook equally. They don't enjoy the same pastimes or the same music or vacations. They have different strengths and weaknesses. They have very different decorating styles, and their affections are unique as well. But here's what that common thread is. They were there. That's it. I mean, they were there. They were really there. And that's perhaps all that's really needed from all of us, is that we be there. You know, it's not easy for us to be there these days, is it? Our culture values not being there, but multitasking, being 2, 3, 4 places at once. But when we multitask, I dare say we are nowhere. We are neither in the place where we stand, nor in the place where our mind roams. But there are ways to be there. We need to establish boundaries, to make sure that, for instance, at the dinner table, which is the most sacred place, that we are looking at one another, that we are truly present with one another, that we say, everything goes off now. It's time to talk. It's time to share Bible time. We need time when we are truly powered down so that we can be present with all those that we get to